I've been holding a lot of shit in lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry.
Oh, what do I owe? Last time we been together, we wash your car for you. We wash your car. We wash your car with no shame in our hustle. And when you goddamn getting into that wash, and you know that tip gonna be good, like this culture. Y'all better stop buying this slippery soap, man.
For decades, Sean Diddy Combs ruled hip-hop like a king, untouchable, unstoppable, protected. Celebrities wanted to be near him, rappers feared him, executives obeyed him. But now, that empire is collapsing in real time. And the two men helping expose the cracks are two men who once hated each other, 50 Cent and Rick Ross. For years, they were enemies, but as lawsuits pile up against Diddy, disturbing stories emerge from former insiders, and federal investigations grow larger, these two rivals suddenly find themselves connected by one dangerous name, Diddy. And according to people close to the industry, the secrets coming out now may only be the beginning.
To the filing, she says she was in the 11th grade when she was out with friends at a Detroit lounge in Michigan in 2003 and then approached by Harvey Pierre, then president of Combs' music label Bad Boy Entertainment. Combs' career was taking off, and she says Pierre bragged that Combs was his best friend and called him. The two men allegedly convinced her to take a private jet to New York.
To understand why the story matters, you first need to understand the history. 50 Cent and Rick Ross were never friends. This was one of the nastiest rap feuds of the 2000s, mocking families, destroying reputations, humiliating each other online. But while Ross and 50 fought publicly, there was another figure always floating in the background, Diddy. Rick Ross stayed close to him for years. 50 Cent stayed suspicious of him for years. And now, the internet is revisiting everything, every lyric, every party, every old interview. Because suddenly, the rumors around Diddy don't sound like jokes anymore.
They own Rick Ross too. You Rose, you folded over. You still paying the gangster disciples, I know.
Then everything changed. Cassie filed her lawsuit. And suddenly, decades of whispers became public conversation. The allegations were explosive. Claims of abuse, manipulation, control, disturbing freak-off encounters. Soon after, more lawsuits followed, more accusers, more stories. And, according to multiple people once connected to Diddy's world, this wasn't new behavior. This was allegedly a pattern. That's when 50 Cent stopped looking like a troll and started looking like somebody who had been warning people for years.
It's not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. And y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids.
Then the spotlight turned toward Rick Ross, not because he was accused of crimes, but because of proximity. Ross had spent years around Diddy, collaborating, traveling, partying. And once the lawsuits started piling up, people began asking dangerous questions. Did Ross witness things? Did he know more than he admitted publicly? Now, important disclaimer, most internet claims surrounding Ross and Diddy remain speculation and online commentary. But one thing is undeniable. The pressure inside the music industry became very real because nobody wanted their name connected to what investigators might uncover next.
Around Puffy, you was on Bad Boy. You know, looking at this lawsuit, Cassie, she claims that her and Diddy had freak-off sessions where they would get a male
You
prostitute
talking about
in.
the freak-off session where they used to do in the studio and all of that over different entertainers' houses and stuff?
where they be having them parties where they won't invite you to, and they be like, we having a party tonight, but this ain't your kind of party. You be like, yeah, I ain't going. I don't want to go. Freak off parties, when you go in there and it be, yo, let me tell you something. We used to go in the club. We go into the nightclub, right? And we go and get to the VIP. All of these girls come around the VIP and they just be standing there. And like, let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna get back with you. We gotta rewind this back. We used to go to when we go to the club, we used to have these bottles, right? And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they been have something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff. So when you get up, they be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles.
Then came the stories that terrified the internet. Stories about strange drinks, memory loss, secret recordings, and private parties that allegedly crossed dangerous lines. Again, many of these stories remain unverified allegations online. But once federal raids reportedly uncovered electronics and hard drives, fears spread fast across the industry. Because, according to multiple commentators, people suddenly worried about what might exist on those recordings. And that fear may explain why so many celebrities went silent almost overnight.
Allegations with Puffy, I think that was going on around there. I think those niggas were some sexual demons, is what I get that was going on around.
This is where 50 Cent becomes dangerous. Because unlike most robbers, 50 plays the long game. He studies people, waits, collects information, and strikes when the timing is perfect. For years, the industry ignored his Diddy jokes, but now those jokes sit next to lawsuits, investigations, witness interviews, and federal evidence. Suddenly, 50 doesn't sound crazy anymore. He sounds prepared.
Force any woman to do anything. It should be like the Arab countries. They just start cutting shit off, to be totally honest, of that man. Any man that forces any woman to do anything, they should treat them like they treat them in the Arab countries and just start cutting shit off. From their fingers, to their hands, to their feet, to their genitals, to their head. You know what I'm saying? So now, another thing of it is that how low do you have to be when you're gonna put somebody on a jet and fly them all the way to New York to the studio? To me, bro, to be totally honest, it sounds kind of fishy to me. I can't, and then it came from Hard Pierre. The Hard Pierre I knew back in them days was a cornball that did everything Puff said. You know what I mean? Like he was one of Diddy's highest dick riders. That's some real thirsty, desperate shit for them to fly a 17-year-old girl, you know, on a G5. They was flying G5 and G4 jets back then. All the way to New York to gang rep her in the studio.
And now, Rick Ross sits in the middle of a storm. If he distances himself from Diddy, people ask why. If he defends Diddy, he risks public backlash. And if 50 Cent continues releasing information, the pressure only grows. Because in entertainment, perception is everything. One clip, one witness, one leaked recording. That's all it takes for decades of power to collapse.
To do that to that little girl. But she's got to prove it. And she has to prove it by saying this. She has to tell, she cannot come out and say that this happened to her 20 years ago and she never told nobody else. Or she never tried to do something, you know, about it. She had to tell somebody 20 years ago, yo, when I was there, they did this to me. She had to write it in a diary or something like that, you know, and she has to prove to the court that this actually happened to her.
Right. Are you familiar with Daddy House?
Am I familiar with it? Am I familiar with it? Yeah, 44th between was it 8th, 7th and 8th, yeah, between, I think 8th is going, that way is going down to, between 7th and 8th. Yeah, I'm familiar with Daddy House. Yep.
Was he known for having relations with females at his studio? Did you know about it?
It never happened on my, I never seen him work, I never seen him mess with anybody on my watch at Daddy House. It was always business. When I went to Daddy House with Puff, it was always business. You know what I'm saying? We'll be coming from a club or something like that. He wanted to check on the artist, he wanted to check on the song and stuff like that. Or he'll have Ms. Lopez come over, or he'll be checking on some music or whatever like that in the studio. It was always business when I was over there with him. No, now sometimes you get the groupies and the girls come up in there and stuff like that, but Puff never did none of that shit around me.
Diddy responded to the lawsuit on Instagram.
I wish I could give them their punishment, if that's true.
Yeah, that's what she said, man. She said that Diddy, he flew her to New York, took her to the studio, gave her and game. And there's pictures online too. So she was at his studio, Daddy House. So, I mean, she ain't lying about that. She was there, man.
Well, if anything, at that time, if anything came from Detroit, it was one of Puff A&R. They called him Slam. He was from Detroit. He used to set up everything, you know, for Diddy. The time I told y'all about Diddy getting the fellatio when Jennifer Lopez was upstairs, Slam set that up. You know what I mean? So if it came from Detroit, it probably came from Slam. Because he was another one of the dudes that was a flunky around there. You know, but it's crazy, man. I really don't, I got daughters, man. I have words, I don't have words for that, bro. And I don't know any of the guys who were officers that worked for Bad Boy like myself would allow that shit to happen. They wouldn't allow that shit to go down. Puff and them, they know what to do with certain people around. You understand? When they got those dudes who was, you know, from the hood and they was doing bodyguard work and they was doing stuff like that, they maybe, but I don't know any of the officers that I knew that was working for Puff would allow any of that shit to go down.
He went on to talk about how Diddy.
As lawsuits continue, the entertainment industry feels different now. People who once praised Diddy publicly have disappeared quietly. Brands stepped away. Executives went silent. Artists stopped defending him. And while Diddy continues denying allegations, the damage to his empire is already massive. Because once fear enters Hollywood, loyalty disappears fast.
She told her friend, and this was she was under a non-disclosure and everything like that. She told her friend she couldn't take it no more because she had seen this dude do something. I've heard plenty of stories about him being on a yacht. That same yacht that Kim was on, and the same yacht she got her nose broken on, that somebody was doing something to him when they walked in the room, and it caused a confrontation. This is what somebody who was on the yacht said to me. You understand? They was telling that story to somebody. And it was a female. But my whole thing about it was this, is that anything in that lawsuit, you gotta realize that we only got a portion of
With Cassie, she also alleges that, you know, while she was having sex with these male prostitutes, her, the male prostitutes, and Diddy, they all wore masquerade masks.
He didn't want her to know who they were. So if she ever wanted to do what she just did, how does she say how the person looked? All she could describe is if they was wearing masks, unless she saw them before they put the mask on. It's craziness, man. And you know what's so crazy is, bruh, that all these stories.
The real story may not be whether Rick Ross and 50 Cent became allies.
The real story is how Diddy's downfall forced old enemies into the same conversation. Because now, everybody wants answers. Who knew what? Who stayed silent? And who's going to speak next? And if 50 Cent's documentary reveals even half of what insiders are teasing, this may become the biggest scandal hip-hop has ever witnessed.
Unknown number. I don't answer unknown numbers. But, you know, my wife looking at me like,
Yeah.
Who is that?
Pick that up.
I want to know about this.
So I put it on speaker.
Yeah.
I picked it up. I say, who is this? It's Sean. I'm like, Sean? It's Puff. I'm like, oh, what's good?
Talking low like that?
Talking low. So I was like, hey, what's good? I said, what's cracking? He said, we didn't see you tonight at the BET Awards. We didn't see you tonight. He said,
He checking in.
He said, what you doing? I was like, oh man, I'm at the crib. He said, oh yeah, we over here at the he said, I'm over here at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I said, oh, for real? So who over there? Just me. When I did Stomp the Yard, it was #1 2 weekends in a row, and the second weekend, you know, I was like experiencing, you know, phone calls. I'm getting movie offers. And
Right.
All these things that's kind of happening. And one day I got a phone call, unknown number. I answered it, and it was Diddy. And I was like, fanboyed out. Like, what? He's like, man, I'm a big thing, man. You killed that movie, boom, boom. Hey, I heard you coming to New York next week to do 106th Park. Hey, pull up at the Sandra store. You can get whatever you want. Like, boom, you know, go up there, look fresh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Diddy's looking out for me, man. I never met him when I got to New York. I just went to the Chandra store, and they was like, opened up the gates for me. You know, I geared up, boom, boom, boom. Never met him when I was there for those couple days. Then, that was January. February, because Stomp came out January 17, 2007. So February was All-Star in Vegas that year, 2007. Never forget it. So went to the All-Star game. It's crazy. And then my boys, my partners, they roll with Diddy tough. They was like, you know, the band for Bad Boy for a long time. They're like, hey man, Diddy said you could come to the Palms. He's having an after party. He said, I'm over here at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I said, oh, for real? So who over there? Just me.
What? Come on, man. That man ain't said. You serious?
He said, just me. So my wife, I'm over here on the suspect list.
What the hell?
I'm like, nah, man, I'm in bed, bro. I'm good. He's like, and just hung up.
But did he ever give you signs? Did you ever give him any sign, any reason?
No, nothing whatsoever. So I'm like, man, but now I got smoke in my house. So my wife looking at me like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know, this man just called me. Like, and I don't know what's going on. So anyway, you know, people, when I posted that on IG, people was like, the comments was like, but did you go? I left it.
Yeah, you did.
They was like,
right. You did leave it like in
limbo. And I'm like, I gotta respond to this. But I was like, the only way people really listen is if you say, you know, they listen to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle say some shit they know is fake. I was like, hell no, I didn't go. It's crazy. It's ridiculous when I look like going to a grown man's hotel room in the middle of the night. It's ridiculous. Anything's possible with this man. Like Kevin Garnett winning the NBA championships, anything's possible. I wasn't playing those games with P. Diddy that night. It could have changed everything.
Damn, man.
So you were not surprised when all of this came out in the open at all?
No, I wasn't, because I have, you know, as I gotten further deeper into the game, you know, people talk. So I would hear stories, but
It all started, we was in Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff, and he's in the exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that, because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he going, I'm just looking at the places where he picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there and it said plugs. And I was like, hey, yo. I said, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said plugs. And he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. When he got I just waited at the counter. When he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like, he gave the guy a stack something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the store.
Deal also claimed in the interview that these events